Hey, what is good? What is good? What is good, beautiful people? Of course, you know who I be. Good Doc, Dr. Mike TV, back again, once again, instant classic in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe, notify, do all the good things to make yourself well versed in the Good Doc's content. Everything you should need to know about me shall be listed in the links in the description area below. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to have a heart-to-heart just for a moment, okay? I'll try not to take too much of your time. Let y'all get back to business, but I want to have this heart-to-heart with you real quick. I like to believe that I'm an honest guy. I like to believe that my content is as authentic as it possibly can be. It comes from the heart. It comes from a place wherein I'm hoping that some of you guys can gather some sort of knowledge from the information that I put out, okay? So I don't know exactly how you guys are going to take today's video. Quite frankly, I don't care, but what I'm going to try to do is put it together in a way in which a lot of us can understand. Some of y'all may pick up what I'm putting down. Some of you guys may think that I am crazy. But I have to say this. Women abroad in the DR, Brazil, Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Vietnam, South Korea, Japan, China, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, you name it. These women are not really holier than thou. And a lot of y'all will look at me probably like I'm crazy, like, Doc, what the fuck you talk about? I have come across a lot of brothers that will literally talk shit, major shit, about women from their own cultural backgrounds. We'll just refer to them as westernized women or women in the West. But will literally date a woman from a different cultural background, put up with the exact same shit that they probably dealt with that woman in the West, but they're more likely to put up with that woman from the other culture because they're not women from the West. Make that make sense. You are willing to put up with shit from woman over here because she's different, she's exotic, she's the woman from abroad. But yet still, the same problems that you had with the woman over there, you have it with this woman over here. But the only thing that makes her different is simply the fact that she comes from a different place. She's from a different background. So that makes her better than the women over here. Hence, me saying, y'all cannot treat these women abroad as if they are holier than thou. Because they're not. They're not. And I believe it's complete and utter bullshit when I hear gentlemen talking about, well, at least she's not like these women. You know what I'm saying? She might have this problem, XYZ, 1, 2, 3, but at least she's not these women. I be hearing that shit a lot lately, and it throws my mental off. I'm like, bruh, I encourage men to travel, period. I like dating abroad. I think it's fun. I think the fact that I've been able to become a little bit more cultured and, you know, I've been able to experience, educate myself abroad and, you know, seeing different parts of the world, I think that that has made me more alert and more open to different things than the men that probably have never left their own backyards. But yet and still, my alertness, my attentiveness, and my openness to willing to date women from different cultural backgrounds doesn't necessarily mean that I'm ever going to sit there and say, well, although this woman's giving me BS and she's getting on my fucking nerves every now and again and all of this shit, at least she's not this girl over here, so that makes her better. She looks different than her over here, or because this is my preference, I'm willing to deal with the bullshit because she's not this woman over here. I hope that you guys are picking up what I'm trying to say because this is meaningful to me. There is one thing that I will say, and I think I only speak more so when it comes from dealing with Filipinas and women in the Philippines. The chances of you dealing with the nonsense and the headaches and things of that nature are less likely to happen when it comes to dealing with Filipinas than it is dealing with women in the West. But that does not necessarily mean that you are not going to have some of the same issues and problems. A lot of my gentlemen know this. But I want to say it again to those that don't know. Don't just think that because you're going to the Philippines, every Filipina you meet is going to be better than the woman over here. Because that's not true. You might think it's true because woman over here is getting on your damn nerves with the attitude and entitlement and all of that shit. But because she might have the same issues, she might be trying to ask you and beg you for money and think she's entitled to your money. But because she looks good, that negates every single thing over here. You understand? So I'm starting to get upset when gentlemen do that shit. Because you see it happening so much. You see it happening more so than not. Where you're willing to put up with nonsense over here from the woman from abroad or the woman in a different culture because why? She's not the woman over here. She's not the westernized, entitled, obese type of young lady. All right? Even though she might be obese over here, but you want to constitute her as thick. And she's obese. So the woman in the West is obese, but the woman over here who's built the exact same way like a Mack truck is just thick. I see it happening all the time. It's laughable. But it's realistic. It's unrealistic in your mind, but this is the reality that we face. Gentlemen are giving women excuses over here because your preference is over here. You want to live in this moment. You want to live in this era because you're pissed off and you don't want to deal with the women over here. So you're willing to literally forget these women, deal with these women only, and you're dealing with the exact same women with the exact same attitudes and mannerisms and all of the above that remind you of the woman over here. Make that make sense. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Again, when it comes to Filipinas, for sure, and I'm just speaking more so from the Filipino standpoint, the chances of you dealing with the nonsense that you get over here from the women in the West in the Philippines is less likely to happen. Not saying that it won't happen, it's less likely to happen. But you can't sit there and act like it can't happen. Don't act like it can't happen to you. Don't act like you can't find yourself in an entitled situation with woman over here just because she looks good in your mind. You just letting her get away with shit and she's trying to take you for your money or take you for whatever you got going for yourself. And just because she looks good, well, you know, she could do that. Because at least she's not the woman over here. I don't like that. I don't like that narrative. A lot of my gentlemen have dealt with Filipinas who absolutely suck. I can tell you 1,000,001 stories right now as I speak about gentlemen who have had bad experiences dating women abroad. Doesn't matter the country. I can come up with at least 3 different countries where they've had bad experiences dealing with women abroad. And guess what? It was all a learning lesson. What did they do? They said, forget that chick. I'm going to get somebody else. I might find myself in my comfort and my solace over here dealing with these women as opposed to dealing with these women. But guess what? Woman A didn't work out. Woman A was getting on my damn nerves. Woman A had to get yeeted, which means she had to go. So now I got B. Let's see what B is about. I got C. Let's see what C is about. I got D. Keep your dating options open, ladies and gentlemen. You got to keep them dating options open. And you're more likely to have that success, or you're more likely to have that flexibility when it comes to dealing with women abroad as opposed to it being dealing with women, you know, in the West. But don't think just because she looks a certain kind of way that makes her better, especially if she has the same attitude than the woman over here. All right? Because that purely negates everything that I've tried to teach and preach on my channel. I have never come to you guys that I can remember. If I have, I'll have to find it. But I've never come to you guys and talked about Filipinas from the 100% perfect standpoint. I can't do that. That will not be fair to you. That will not be fair to me. And, you know, it's not right. It's not right. So because I have such strong feelings about watching these guys ruin their lives dealing with these entitled women abroad, and the only reason they're willing to accept and deal with the women abroad is because they're not the women in the West, there's no justification for it. There's no way you can make that make sense. So if there's anything that you take away from today's video, guys, I want you to understand this. Women are damn near the same anywhere that you go. Cultural difference, cultural backgrounds somewhat make certain women unique in certain respects. And as a result of that, you're likely to come across things that you find fascinating, interesting, and, you know, more culturally assertive, and you're willing to find comfort and solace dealing with women over here because these women bring more to the table in your mind than the women in the West. Okay? That's perfectly fine. I am understandable of that, and you can justify that. I find comfort and solace living my life over here abroad. I mean, the women or the offerings that I have with my dating options over here are pretty much what I'm looking for, and I just not finding it in women in the West anymore. You can say that. That's perfectly fine, and again, like I said, justifiable. But it is not justifiable just to deal with this woman because she looks better and she's giving you the same attitude and ish only because she looks better than the woman over here. And trust me, if I'm lying, I'm flying. These guys do this all the time. I've heard guys say this shit on a continuous basis. Or they may not say it, but there's just the way that they carry themselves. You start to get the idea that that's the reason why they're with this person. Because they will cry, bitch, and moan and complain about how this girl get on their nerves, all of this shit. But she got a fat ass, though. Oh, man, this bitch get on my nerves. All she doing is asking me for money. She getting on my nerves. But that poo nine is so much better. What? You getting a pure headache and you're willing to deal with the headache because of the way somebody looks or the services that they render? It's not worth the headache to me, man. Maybe to you, but it's just not for me. And I hope that you guys found this video to be a PSA or something that's at least honest. Because I never want you to go abroad thinking that all these women are better than the women in the West. Some of them are fucked up. They're mean. They're nasty. They're vindictive. They're, they're scammers. Whatever it is, man. You can deal with that stuff overseas too. And, a lot of guys abroad can attest to these particular things happening. So I never want you to date some woman abroad because they look better than the woman in the West, but they're giving you the exact same attitude, the same ish that you're trying to avoid, or the same stuff that I hoped that you tried to escape from over here when dealing with these types of women. Why would you go to another country and have to deal with that over here? Make that make sense. And if you can, I'll shut the hell up. All right? Has been fun. It has been real, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a good doc, man. Y'all take care. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay true. Doc is out. With that being said, the good doc is officially out. At least nako. Paalam, which means I'm about to go now. Bye-bye. As always, love you guys. Sincerely do. Mahal kita. Mabuhay. Peace.